Meeting call to order. Please stand for the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance
to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Alrighty. First item on the agenda is the approval of the agenda. So I have a motion to approve.
Motion to approve.
Second.
I'll second.
All in favor?
Aye.
All right, next item on the agenda is the approval of minutes of the March 20th, 2025 Planning and Zoning Commission meeting minutes. Do I have
I make a motion to approve the minutes.
a second?
I'll second.
All in favor?
Aye.
All right, so that brings us to new business for the day. Today we're reviewing application P358. This is located at 104 Atlantic Avenue. The application P358 is the land development plan for proposed retail office building as shown on the plan titled the what is it? Win Concept Plan, prepared and submitted by Portco LLC on behalf of the property owners. Win Real LLC. The property is zoned CB1, General Business District 1, and is located at 104 Atlantic Avenue. All right. Ken, you want to give us a outline or a report?
Certainly, thank you, Mr. Chair. I will be reading the review letter that I received from the town engineer, James Lober, with KCI. Reminder, I'll read these comments. There was no vote today. This is concept plan review. Concept plan review for the Win by Plitco Engineering, dated February 19, 2025. In general, the 50% maximum coverage requirement is lot coverage, not building coverage, which accounts for all buildings and structures. Correct the title of the requirement in the site data column and provide an accurate accounting of the lot coverage in accordance with code requirements. Again, lot coverage accounts for all impervious surfaces. 2, the proposed zoning in the data column on the plan is confusing. The proposed use is a by right use in GB1 zoning. Please remove any reference to proposed zoning. 3, the previous concept plan showed an 8-foot wide right-of-way dedication. This plan appears to show that area, but it isn't labeled. Verify if Del Dot is still requiring the dedication. 4, provide the proposed height of the building. Parking and loading. Number 1, if the lot coverage assessment results in greater than 50% coverage, the parking will most likely need to be reduced. It is unlikely that the department will support a variance for more than a 50% increase in the parking spaces above the code required amount. 2, dead-end parking aisles will require additional depth for turnarounds at both ends. 3, the plan lists the use as retail office, but provides a parking calculation based on a retail service rate. If office is indeed proposed, additional parking spaces may be required as the rate for office space is 1 for every 200 square feet. 4, provide a landscaped island within the parking lot after every 10 parking places. 5, verify that no more than 50% of the front setback area is devoted to parking spaces, driveway aisles, or parking lot entrances. 6, the loading area is impractical and too far from the building. Provide a loading area closer to the building that allows for convenient access and maneuverability. Similarly, the dumpster location seems difficult to access. Consider reconfiguring the location or orientation of the dumpster. wetlands. 1, an updated approval from the Army Corps of Engineers will be required based on the changes made to the layout since the last concept plan was put forward. Floodplain. An updated floodplain approval from the Federal Emergency Management Agency will be required based on the changes made to the layout since the last concept plan was put forward. Landscaping. A 15-foot wide screening buffer is required around the entire perimeter of the site. Given that disturbance of the wetlands is prohibited, it will be impossible to provide this screening in the area to the rear of the property abutting Johnson's Glade. An assessment will need to be made of the existing vegetation within the wetland area to determine if that vegetation, in conjunction with the distance to the building, provides sufficient screening. It is possible that the screening will need to be provided in the upland area between the building and the wetlands. 2, the parking in the front is only 9 feet from the property line and immediately adjacent to the 9-foot wide permanent easement being required by DelDOT. The minimum 15-foot for screening is not provided and no area is provided between the easement and the parking. Provide the minimum 15-foot and evidence from DelDOT that landscaping is sufficient to provide compliance with the screening and commercial development landscape code requirements is permitted within their easement. Sidewalks. Provide a sidewalk from the sidewalk along Atlantic Avenue into the site. Outside agency approvals. Updated approvals from all applicable outside agencies will be required prior to final plan approval.
All right. Well, thank you. Do any of the commission members have a question for Ken?
I do.
Go ahead.
When you say the requirement of 15 feet for screening, what do you mean by the screening? Is that when they put up the
Vegetative screening.
But that's when they put up the plastic perimeter?
No, this is permanent screening. Vegetative screening or possibly a fence or some fence, correct?
It's a combination of high and low level.
Yeah.
So shrubberies, trees, a visual barrier of landscaping.
And what's its purpose?
Just to soften the look of the commercial development.
On the residential community behind it?
And it's required along the entire property line. of
Oh,
commercial.
okay.
So, yeah.
Yeah.
So it's more for how it looks than functional?
Mm-hmm.
Yes.
It's aesthetics.
Yeah, okay, I got you.
Okay.
Thanks.
Any other questions? Alrighty, well, I guess at this point we'll, and this is a concept plan, so everyone is aware of that, so the commission is not voting on this today, this is kind of a benchmark for the next phase of planning. Alright, so any comments from the audience? Come up and give us your name and address.
Yep, my name is Ray Blakeney. I'm with Plitco Engineering. We're at 53 Atlantic Avenue, and we prepared the plan.
Okay.
I'll go over it briefly with you. We actually have made revisions to the plan, so what I'm going to be presenting is slightly different than what you have in front of you. We revised the plan to address Mr. Lober's comments.
Okay.
So, as Ken said, the site's located at 104 Atlantic Avenue, tax parcel 134-12-428.01. The entire site is 1.02 acres. Of that, there are existing uplands of approximately 0.6 acres, with the remaining being in 404 non-tidal wetlands, approximately 0.42 acres. Zoning is GB1. Current site use is undeveloped, and we're proposing a retail office building. The first thing to notice about the plan is there is a large segment of wetlands that runs through the property, including right up very close to the road. A little bit of history on this project. We actually submitted this project before to the town. I think we got to the preliminary stage. We also worked with DelDOT, Sussex Conservation District, the Office of State Fire Marshal, and FEMA in order to get our permits. One of the things we did was we got a nationwide 18 permit from the U.S. Army Corps of Engineers that allows us to fill up to 1/10 of an acre. So what we're proposing is to fill this area here, which will allow us to do the parking area that we're showing, and a couple of small areas in the back that'll give us room to basically construct the building. So we've done some offsets off the building and add all those up, and we're just under 1/10 of an acre. So we will have to get that permit from the Corps of Engineers revised and updated to match this new plan, but we feel confident that that's something we can do. The next thing is stormwater management. In order to do the site the way we're proposing it, we're proposing an underground system for stormwater management. It'll be underneath the parking lot. We've actually done a couple of these previously. We've worked with Sussex Conservation District on the approval for that. So that's how we intended to do stormwater management. That will require a completely new plan that we'll have to submit to Sussex Conservation District to get their approval for. Just to some of Mr. Lober's comments, we have moved the loading area and the dumpster to be adjacent to the building, so they're not over here on the side anymore, but they're over here. We've also expanded the sort of the back out areas for the parking to make those movements a little more feasible and easy. We currently have, parking requirements for the building. We did parking at 1 per 200 because we do anticipate possible office or service uses for the building. We're required to have 22 spaces, and we are currently proposing 31. If we have to make some provisions and reduce that parking a little bit, we have the room to do that. But for now, we're proposing the 31 spaces. Our proposed building area is approximately 4,223 square feet. The lot coverage for impervious surface that Ken mentioned in Mr. Lober's comments, we've come out at 43.07, so we're below that 50% requirement. As well as the area of parking in the front setback, which includes both the parking and the drive aisle, we're at 33.9%. So again, we're below the 50% requirement. And then I'll just run through Mr. Lober's comments quickly and tell you what else we've done. We do have an 8-foot right-of-way dedication to DelDOT, and we have labeled on the plan now. We are providing screening around the entire parcel. We've got planted buffers on both sides. We are anticipating using the existing vegetation in the wetlands for our rear screening. But as Mr. Lober said, once clearing's done, we'll have to evaluate that and make sure that it meets the town's requirements. If we need to, we can plant probably like some American hollies, which is a plant that will grow well in the wetlands and also provide an evergreen screen. So we feel if we need to, we can make that provision. In the front, Mr. Lober talked about the right-of-way dedication and the DelDOT permanent easement. So what we have now, as I said, we have an 8-foot right-of-way dedication, and then we have a 9-foot DelDOT permanent easement. We contacted DelDOT; they will not allow us to do any planting in that permanent easement. So what we're proposing for our to meet that front criteria is to have both that right-of-way dedication area behind the sidewalk and that permanent easement be a grass strip. And then we've actually pushed everything back 6 feet. So what we're proposing is a 6-foot planted bed along the front of the property. That will include some evergreen shrubs that will be about 3 to 4 feet high, a couple of crepe myrtles to give some verticality and some seasonal interest and color. And then we're actually proposing even a small white and 3-foot high white picket fence, again, to help screen off some of those views from the road. We feel like this meets the spirit of the 15-foot required buffer, but we're willing to work with the town to see if that's going to require a variance or not. But as you can see here, from the sidewalk, you'll have a 16-foot grass strip, and then the 6-foot planted island before you get to the parking area. As we said, we'll have to update the wetlands permit. We'll have to update our floodplain letter from FEMA because of the floodplain area that runs along the rear of the property. But otherwise, I think that's pretty much everything. I'm willing to have to answer any questions you have.
Okay.
Thank you.
Thank you. Do any members have a question?
Did you show the sidewalks on there?
Yeah. Oh, well, yeah, there's an existing sidewalk along the road, and then we have a sidewalk internal connection that Jim mentioned, and then a crosswalk here that leads to the building.
Now, wasn't there going to be a requirement? Oh, that was, it's on Atlantic Avenue, okay. Never mind. All righty. Well, as I said, this is a concept plan, so there will not be a vote on this tonight.
Sure.
Thank you for your presentation. Do you have any comments, ma'am? No? Okay. All righty. So I will close that. And,
Mr. Chairman,
Yes.
for the record, can we note that there's no one in the audience to make any public comments?
sure.
I just also want to note that there was an email provided from Mr. Mark Campbell in your packets, who provided some comment about the proposed Foster and Hollies. He is the property owner adjacent. He's a little concerned about their spread.
Okay.
So I do want to just let commission know that they have a copy of that letter, and we can forward that to you as well. If you
Yeah.
could just look at that as the
Sure.
plan moves
Sure,
forward.
like I said, with the concept stage, so obviously changing out the landscape is not.
Absolutely.
We can find something.
Thank
something
you.
that'd be more suitable.
Okay. All right.
Mr. Semino?
Anything else? All right. Well, do I have I guess we are done for the day. Do I have a motion to adjourn?
Motion to adjourn.
I second.
All right. All in favor?
Aye.
All right, meeting adjourned. Thank you.